Good day, everyone. Are you looking for a way to monitor your Azure SQL databases and manage instances effortlessly? Meet Azure Database Watcher, your all-in-one solution for tracking performance, configuration, and health across your databases, Elastic pools, and SQL managed instances. With built-in dashboards in the Azure portal, you get a real-time single-pane view of your entire SQL estate. Plus, smart alerts notify you whenever something needs attention. To store and analyze this monitoring data, Database Watcher integrates with Azure Data Explorer and real-time analytics in Microsoft Fabric, allowing you to run KQL or TSQL queries, build custom dashboards, and gain deeper insights. And the best part, it scales effortlessly to handle data from several SQL resources, ensuring optimal performance and cost efficiency. This is just the beginning of our Azure Database Watcher series. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into Azure data solutions. Let's first discuss the basic architecture of the database watcher. Now we have these targets, which are your Azure SQL databases managed instances, or SQL databases or managed instance in Elastic Pool. So what happens is, like, a database watcher service basically gets the required data from these targets, yeah, and then what it will do is, like, it will place those data into this Azure Data Explorer or the real-time analytics in Microsoft Fabric. And once these data are in place, so what happens is, like, Database Watcher keep on gets data from these targets, and then it will move those data into any of these data stores. Yeah, and then we have this built-in dashboard on the Azure portal, using which we'll be able to look at all the collected data from the target. And since these things are placed in the data store, we'll be able to view those data on the dashboard. And also, as I updated earlier, we can write our own KQL, the Custo queries or the TSQL queries, and then create our own dashboard. Now let's discuss about the Azure SQL targets that are supported. Yeah. So if you see here, we are currently as far as the database watcher is concerned, which is currently in public preview. That is something that you need to keep in mind. There is high possibility there might be changes to what you are looking at right now when it moves to GA. And if you see here, as of now, we will be able to add our Azure SQL databases, Azure SQL managed instances, and then the resources in the Elastic Pool as far as your SQL database and managed instance is concerned. Database Watcher works with all service tiers, compute options, and pricing models in Azure SQL Database and Azure SQL Managed Instance. This includes vCore and DTU purchasing models, provisioned and serverless compute tiers, single databases, Elastic pools, and hyperscale. Yeah, it can also monitor all types of readable secondary replicas, such as high availability replicas, geo replicas, hyperscale named secondary replicas. Additionally, a single watcher can track SQL targets across different subscriptions, as long as they are within the same Microsoft Entra ID tenant. Let's now discuss about the database watcher pricing. Yeah, so as far as the database watcher as a resource, it is free of cost. Yeah, and also the dashboard is free. If you decide using the Azure Data Explorer cluster as your data store, then we will have to pay for the usage, and you can use the pricing calculator, the Azure pricing calculator, and key in the required details, and then you can get a approximate value. Yeah. Now, if you guys are already on Microsoft Fabric, then you can utilize that as a data store, and for that you will not be charged anything extra. Yeah. And in case if you decide using an Azure Key Vault, then there will be some charge for that, yeah, just to store your SQL authentication logins and things like that. Yeah, so you can use that, and if you decide using that, then we will have to use an Azure Key Vault as a best practice. Yeah, and as far as the Azure network bandwidth cost is concerned, if the watcher and all its targets and the data stores are all deployed in the same region, then there will be no cost. But in case if there is a cross region, then we will have some cost involved in that. And again, you can use the pricing calculator and get some details. And as far as the alerts are concerned, so database watcher basically utilizes the log alerts. So monthly price is variable and depends on the usage and also like how many number of SQL targets we have. Yeah. As far as the data store is concerned, yeah, the Azure Data Explorer cluster, if you are planning to do a POC or look at the database watcher, then what I would suggest is like you guys can utilize the free Azure Data Explorer cluster. Then a service level agreement is not required, and also the query performance and storage requirements are kind of okay as far as the free cluster that it can offer. Yeah, but for any production level monitoring and things like that, I would request either to use the Azure Data Explorer cluster directly or the real-time analytics in Microsoft Fabric. Now, if I talk about the regional availability, this is something very, very important, at least in my case. When I tried to implement it in South or Central India, I was not able to do that. Yeah, so I basically had to use this one, Southeast Asia. So this is something that you guys have to look at and make sure like if you guys are fine with this, because as I told earlier, as far as the Azure network bandwidth is concerned, if your watcher and the targets are on the same region, then it's not going to incur any new, additional cost. But in case if the watcher and the targets are in different region, then there will be some cost incurred depending upon your availability and also the how much data that we are pushing. Yeah, so that's something that you need to keep in mind as far as the regional availability is concerned. Yeah, and this is something that is very important. Yeah, so as far as the limits are concerned, you can have as per now you can have 20 database watchers per subscription, and also like each watcher cannot have more than 100 SQL targets. Yeah, and as far as the dashboard is concerned, so we will be looking at the demo in later videos, but as of now, this is the feel of the dashboard. Yeah, so you have this heat map wherein you will be able to understand if the each of the SQL targets looks okay. Like green is like looks all good. Amber is something that we need to look at. Red is like there is some issues, like maybe a CPU 100% or things like that. So you will be able to get a single view of all your targets and then drill down further. Discussing on the monitoring data, yeah. So the database watcher basically utilizes more than 70 SQL catalog views and DMVs, yeah. And data from one or multiple related views is transformed into a data set, and then that gets written into your data store, yeah. So the overhead, there will be some overhead, but it's not going to be too huge. It has separate data sets for your databases, elastic pools, and managed instances. Yeah, you will be able to utilize alerts, and based on your alert condition, you will be able to raise an alert. Yeah. So as far as the network connectivity is concerned, we can use private connectivity and public connectivity. I will include this link in the description section of this video. You guys can have a look and then take it from there. So this would be our only video where we don't have any demo. So any other video after this on the database watcher series, we will be having only demo, and I will show you guys like how to get it implemented and also like show you like how we can look at the data. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Jai Hind.